What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Mo Trades. Y'all thought I was done that easily? Nah. But all jokes aside, welcome back. I appreciate you guys tuning in to another video. Today we're gonna go over all of my live trades, and I'm really gonna hammer home the fact that getting control of your mind is essential to trading. At the end of the day, this is all just a game and we're all trying to win. And a lot of times, new traders try to overtrade because they get really eager and aggressive, especially after a loss, which is a big mistake that can lead to a lot of headache. So, without further ado, let's see my first trade of the day. We started off with this strong uptrend overnight, and we ended up having a little bit of a congestion, followed by a test of the EMA. Now, after this congestion, right up here, I really thought that after a strong hold of the EMA and a bullish bar followed by another higher low, which we'll see in a few moments, that we would at least test the highs of the day following the first break of the trend line. Now, as always, we just want to draw whatever is the most accurate representation of price. And this is why, after this little congestion, I drew a little trading range. As we know, in price action, when there's a trading range, we really like to trade the failed breakouts. So in this case, we had a breakout of the bottom side of the trading range directly into the EMA, followed by a nice bullish bar, which signals a lot of bullish momentum and other traders thinking the same thing that I am, which is, okay, we had a break of this trend. Now, the trend, looking back, might not have been that valid, but nevertheless, we had a break of the trend, a test of the EMA, followed by a very bullish bar, and I went long after that bullish bar. Now, the first time I entered the trade, I actually did get stopped out after just a few moments because of my stop loss strategy, but I actually re-entered the trade 2 more times, which ended up giving me 10 contracts in the trade total, which, as we know, I actually lost the first 2 trades of the day, so I started off in the red over $1,000. But, as I stated, mindset is very essential when it comes to trading. Even though I had 2 losses to start off the day, I didn't get discouraged. I remained calm, and I ended up actually ending the day over $400 in the green, or just under $400 after commissions. But as we see, there was the nice bullish bar. I bought and then was immediately stopped out just because after I reached 5 ticks, I had my stop loss strategy to go to break even. But I did re-enter the trade as stated, and after this, a higher low formed, which signaled to me that, okay, the bullish momentum is continued. The bears cannot sell below the EMA. Let me add on to this trade. I was pretty confident in this trade. Looking back, there was probably a wider congestion, and I was trading right in the middle of it, which punished me in the end. But after I did get stopped out, as I stated, I was over $1,000 in the red. Now, once again, we had strong bullish momentum overnight, followed by congestion, a break. We were expecting a test of a new high. We had a higher low right here. Unfortunately, we started off the day 0-2, but let's see what happens next. All right, and we're back. My next trade did come shortly after my first 2 losses. To be honest with you guys, I was kind of tilted after the first 2 losses, but as we'll see, the next trade setup looked pretty nice. Because I had gotten trapped, I knew that a lot of other bulls got trapped as well. So when we had this other test of the EMA on the other side, after a lower high, nice bearish bar, I was also very confident this was a very high probability trade and that we were going to reverse. It did come with another bar to kind of scare me a little bit, but in the end, we ended up getting out of this trade successfully. As we'll see, the scalp was made, but there was no runner, unfortunately. And once again, I just want to explain the importance of how valuable it is just to keep your mind in check and to really avoid over trading, because at the end of the day, we are trying to take only the highest probability setups possible. After every losing trade that I have, I try to go outside, get some sun, take a breath of fresh air, and really just get my mind calm before even going back to my computer, because I know that in the past, whenever I've been very nervous or aggressive when trading, that just always leads to problems. And another thing that I've really focused on is nutrition, supplementation, and only eating a strict diet that leads to low inflammation, as well as a lot of supplements that are good for brain health. If you guys are interested in some more of that, just leave me a comment down in the description and I'll be happy to share more. But for now, let's go on to the next trade. All right, all right. So after we had this strong uptrend, a break, and a new high, we ended up kind of getting into this trading range where we bounced once on the left side, another time, and I was confident that if we had another higher low in this general area, that we'd at least come on and touch the EMA. I did have this wide downtrend drawn, and as you'll see, I did go long straight up into the upper edge of the channel. But as I was going into this trade, I really thought that the channel wasn't that valid, because if you actually watch my previous video from yesterday, I really feel strongly that in trading ranges, shorter term trend lines are going to be much more accurate a very high percentage of the time compared to wider trends like this. Now, once again, we had a failed breakout of this range, followed by a lower high, nice bullish bar, engulfing entry, and it worked out for a nice scalp once again. If you guys are new to the channel, we're trading S&P 500 futures, and the trading method works regardless of futures, stocks, options, crypto, whatever instrument you're trading, because price action is king. As you can see, the chart is very nice and concise. We don't have to deal with a lot of lagging indicators, and when it comes to price action, you are solely trading based on price, which allows you to really interpret the chart much more accurately. And as I was talking about the trend channel, we had I ended up redrawing it to draw a much thinner one, break, new low, followed by a lower high, bullish bar. Let's see where my next trade took us. My next trade was another test of these lows, and we had a nice bullish bar once again. I really just like the general context of this trade with another touch around these lows. I was confident that it would at least work for a scalp, which ended up working out in my favor. Let's see what happened next. But before we do that, this scalp actually only worked for 1.25 points, which is why we really emphasize only going for 1 point if you're going to enter with market orders. But if you're going with a limit order, you can be willing to go for up to 5, maybe 6 ticks. Let's see my next trade once again. Let's go! Now, these next two trades that we're about to see came with a lot of patience, because we were in a strong congestion for a while. Sort of like the first two trades of the day, I ended up adding onto this trade just because I really liked the context. We were in a sort of weak uptrend for the majority of the day up to this point, and as you can see, this short-term trend, we had a break, and once again, I was looking for a new high. After this low, we pushed strongly above the EMA. We touched the bottom of this mini congestion. We had a very, very strong bullish bar, which is where I entered at the top of, and I put my stop loss one tick below this signal bar. Now, we had several bars stack up following when I entered the trade, which did get me a little nervous, but this is why we keep our stop loss one tick below the signal bar and we don't exit trades if we're confident that they're high probability. Like I said, I was very confident in this trade, so I didn't even want to exit it early, and I actually added on to this trade, as we'll see in a second. But once again, at this point of the day, I had been trying to battle all the way back from being over $1,000 in the red, and my mind started to play tricks on me, and I ended up stepping outside and just getting away from my computer probably like 10 times at this point, just because I didn't want to trade on nerves and I didn't want to trade on emotion. I really wanted to trade just on the high probability setups, and the best way I know how to do that is to, one, meditate, two, just take some deep breaths, get some fresh air. Like I said, I really like just eating healthy and feeling good and getting a restful night's sleep. I think that's essential. I've had days where I got almost no sleep and ended up just sitting at the computer feeling terrible, and a lot of times that just leads to some bad trades. But once again, this looks like a lot of congestion, but because we went from this low and we had another higher low, followed by a third higher low, actually a second higher low following this one, but when we kept pushing up, I was confident that we'd at least try to touch the high of the day before reversing, especially because we had a break of this trend. We hadn't had a new high, and we'd been bouncing off this wider trend line all day. Prices were really struggling to break below this level. We did get kind of lucky. We got 3 bounces at one tick above our stop loss, but like I said, these levels are there for a reason. I'm not the only one putting my stop loss there. I'm not the only one thinking that this is a very good trade to take, which is why it's high probability, because I'm just putting myself in the shoes of the other smart traders and the other traders who are thinking the same thing and interpreting the chart the same way as I am. Like I stated in almost every video, this is like a language, and it takes practice and patience and a lot of interpretation to really master it. There's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but if you stick to it and you keep practicing and you're smart with your trading, you're gonna be successful. A lot of people run into issues when they just don't have a strong mental side and really just get down on themselves after red days, and then don't feel like trading, and then they have one good day, and then the next day they're like, oh, okay, let me add on some more contracts, and let me make up everything that I lost yesterday. And then they have one losing trade and end up losing way more than they should have, and they get discouraged once again, and it turns into a cycle. I really encourage everyone to start with sim trading, and not until you really master sim trading, or at least get to a point where you're seeing the chart and you know deep down that, okay, like, I'm seeing these charts well, I understand this strategy, I'm confident in my trades, where you should really start trading with your own money. And finally, we stopped out of this trade, and after this, I was happy that I made some money for the day. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Peace out.